Must be a big one.
The National Hurricane Center has issued.
Just breathe.
They're saying it could be a category.
In the Category 5 storm!
Since the 1980s, hurricanes have intensified by over 250%, making each disaster worse than the one before. Now a massive storm is closing in on a small coastal town. A woman named Dakota is inside her house trying to order groceries online when the store tells her they are shutting down because of the weather.
Closing? Now?
She looks out the window and sees her neighbors packing up and leaving. She decides to walk to the store herself. She steps outside in her raincoat, but the chaos on the streets triggers a panic attack. A neighbor runs into her and cheerfully brings up her mother, who recently passed away. Dakota cannot handle the conversation and retreats back inside, scared and shaken. Nearby, 3 foster kids named Ron, Dee, and Ray are hanging out by a lake having fun. Ron jumps into the water and does not respond for a moment, scaring the others, but he eventually comes back up laughing. Dee mentions that school is starting back up in a few days. Ray shrugs and says at least they will get to eat every day. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Their foster father Olson shows up and immediately starts yelling at them and threatening to send them back to foster care. Dee tries to stand up to him, but they are all too scared of him to do much. Across town, a pregnant veterinarian named Lisa finishes up at a meat factory and meets with a truck driver named Bob. He tells her he is dropping off his delivery and getting out of town immediately. Lisa drives off and calls her mother, who is already upset about Lisa's fiancé leaving her while she was pregnant. Her mother suggests she give birth in a bathtub full of water like her sister did. Lisa is not interested and says she is having the baby in a hospital with her own playlist playing. Her mother then tells her the interstate has been shut down. Lisa has no idea how she is going to get out of town. Meanwhile, a marine biologist named Dale, who is Dakota's uncle, is out on the water watching a storm build on the horizon. He and his partner have been tracking 6 bull sharks that recently appeared in the area. The sharks are likely moving into fresh water to find shelter from the storm. A report comes in and confirms the worst. What was supposed to be a Category 2 hurricane has rapidly strengthened into a Category 5.
If they ever considered creating a Category 6, this would be it.
Dale immediately calls Dakota and tells her she needs to leave. Dakota tells him she is staying and that it will pass. Dale says he will be there within a couple of hours, and they hang up. The storm is picking up fast. Olson is driving the kids home, still cursing at them the whole way and threatening to take away whatever little they have. Dee watches nervously out the window as everyone around them evacuates the town. Olson turns off the news and tells the kids that people are just cowards and it is only a little rain. At her house, Dakota watches the news alone and sees the hurricane upgrade to a Category 5 on screen. She switches over to a home video of herself and her mother and watches it in tears. At the foster home, Olson and his wife Rachel are down in the basement talking about the kids. Rachel holds up a letter. It is a check for $1,500 a month sent by the kids' uncle to cover their care. The two of them laugh about it, while feeding the kids nothing but bread and eating steaks themselves. Dee comes downstairs asking if there is anything to eat. She spots the steaks in the fridge and asks about them. Olson tells her it is none of her business. Rachel throws a piece of bread at her and sends her away, reminding her the basement is off limits.
And hey, you know goddamn well that this basement's off limits.
The storm hits fast and without mercy. The seawater crashes through the town barrier and floods the streets almost instantly. Lisa is out trying to find an open store when she runs into Bob again on the road. He stops her and tells her a massive tree has fallen and is blocking the way ahead. Before either of them can figure out a plan, a wall of water comes rushing toward them. Bob tells Lisa to squeeze past him. She tries but slips on the wet road, crashes into the tree, and gets her car completely stuck. Bob tries to back his truck up and drive away, but the floodwater swallows him entirely. Dakota looks out her window and sees a surge of water coming straight at the house. She runs inside just in time. Olson is sitting on the couch like nothing is happening until the windows shatter and water pours in. Lisa is trapped in her car with the floodwater slowly rising around her pregnant belly. She screams for help. Dakota can hear her from her window nearby. Bob's truck crashes into a statue and breaks apart. Blood spreads into the water, and the sharks move in. Two men on a boat named Scott and Jimmy hear Lisa screaming and try to help. Scott jumps into the water and finds her trapped in the car. He calls Jimmy to bring a cutting tool from the truck. Jimmy gets into the water to retrieve it. When Scott looks back, Jimmy has vanished. He suddenly surfaces with his hand completely gone. A shark attacks Jimmy again and drags him away before Scott can do anything. Then another shark comes up behind Scott and kills him right in front of Lisa. Dakota watches all of it from her window and screams down to warn Lisa that there are sharks in the water. Back at the foster home, Olsen and Rachel try to make their way to the garage through the floodwater. Something moves beneath the surface near them. Olsen opens the garage door, and a shark immediately bites his hand off. It then attacks Rachel and drags her into the water right in front of the terrified kids. Olsen spots the kids calling out for help, but instead of helping them, he runs for himself. A shark grabs him and pulls him under. Rachel bangs on the window in front of the kids one last time before being torn away completely. Lisa is still trapped in her car, screaming for help. Dakota calls emergency services, but no one is coming. She tells Lisa there are sharks everywhere and she cannot safely get to her. Then a small cottage floats by between the two of them. Lisa asks for Dakota's name. She then tells her she is pregnant and that she cannot let her son die out here without ever taking his first breath. Dakota sits down for a moment, overwhelmed. Then she gets up, grabs a knife, and climbs out through the window. She steps across the floating furniture and slips off a tile, crashing down onto her car and into the water. She pulls herself back up, jumps across the floating cottage, spots sharks circling nearby, finds some railings to hold onto, and makes her way over to Lisa's car. She cuts through the hood and breaks away the branches trapping Lisa. She gets her free and brings her safely back to the house. Lisa is finally able to breathe again. She thanks Dakota and sits down in relief. Dale and his partner check their map and see that nearly half the town is now underwater. Then they spot a tracking signal that stops them cold. It is Nellie, a massive pregnant great white shark they have been monitoring for 3 years. She is right near Dakota's location. They head out immediately by boat, bringing along a group of reporters who are more focused on recording everything than on anything else. At the foster home, Dee tries to close the front door to stop any more sharks from getting inside. She steps along the kitchen counter to reach it, but a couple of sharks push their way in and trap her. She struggles to hold on while Ron rushes over and grabs her before she slips. Back at Dakota's house, Lisa and Dakota sit together waiting. Lisa asks if Dakota is alone. Dakota says yes. Lisa asks about her parents. Dakota tells her father died a long time ago and her mother passed away just a few months back. Lisa apologizes and asks what their plan is. Dakota has no answer.
Okay, so if we stay here, we should let people know we're inside. You know, helicopters, rescue teams, those sorts of things.
Lisa suggests getting up to the roof to signal any rescue helicopters flying over. Dakota agrees and climbs up to set out a signal. When she comes back down, Lisa is already having contractions. Dakota gets scared and asks if the baby is coming right now. Lisa believes it is. Dakota checks and can already see the baby's head. Lisa tells her the opening is only about 2 to 3 inches wide. The baby is coming, but it is not ready yet. Dale decides to launch the small boat from the back of his truck. He tells the reporters they cannot bring all their equipment because the extra weight will slow them down. At the foster home, Ron tells the others they need to find something useful. He remembers there may be guns in the basement. Ray reminds him that Olsen never allowed them down there. Ron points out that Olsen is dead. The kids all cheer and start cursing him out. Right on cue, Olsen's waterlogged body rises up from the water and flops onto the table in front of them. Ron dives into the water and heads to the basement. He grabs the steaks from the fridge and tries to get to the guns, but a shark cuts him off. He throws a paint bucket across the room to distract it, grabs a nearby box, and gets back up just in time. Inside the box is dynamite. The water at Dakota's house keeps rising and the bed starts to float. Lisa says they have to move. Dakota spots a boat not far away but the water between them, and it is full of sharks. Lisa has another wave of contractions. Dakota thinks about what her uncle told her about sharks and remembers that vibrations attract them. She finds an electric toothbrush and a trimmer, bags them both in plastic, and drops them into the water to pull the sharks away from her path. She grabs a flashlight, straps it to her head, and prepares to swim out to the boat. Dawn is beginning to break and the clouds on the horizon are starting to clear. Dakota swims through the flooded streets, climbing over debris and avoiding anything that moves. She passes Bob's body in the water and takes a different route. At one point, a shark passes directly beneath her. She stops moving completely and holds still as it glides between her legs. Once it is gone, she swims hard for the boat and finally climbs in. Lisa cannot wait any longer. She gets her phone out, starts her birth playlist, and begins pushing. Then the house collapses underneath her. She falls into the floodwater. Dakota watches from the boat as the structure comes apart. Lisa somehow fights her way back to the surface and grabs onto a floating piece of furniture. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. She pushes her baby out right there in the open water while Dakota rows toward her as fast as she can. Lisa holds her newborn baby up out of the water. Blood immediately spreads in every direction and sharks start closing in from all sides. Lisa places the baby on top of the floating furniture, grabs a sharp broken piece of wood, and cuts the umbilical cord herself. A shark charges at her, and she stabs it and drives it off. She pulls her baby close. Dakota sees another shark coming up behind Lisa and shoots it with a crossbow she picked up from a half-flooded armor shop along the way. She rows hard toward Lisa and is about to pull her and the baby into the boat when a shark slams into the side at full force and flips the whole thing over. Back at the foster home, the kids duct tape the dynamite to the stakes and light them. They throw them into the water, but the sharks do not react. Ray remembers from watching Shark Week that vibrations attract sharks. The kids get into the water and start splashing around. It works and the sharks come rushing in. Dee and Ray climb back onto the table just in time. Ron jumps on a nearby bike and pedals just out of the shark's reach. All three sharks go for the dynamite stakes and get blown apart. The kids cheer, hug each other, and Ray spots the car keys. They grab them and drive themselves out through the flooded town. Dale arrives at just the right moment. He throws an electronic device into the water, and the electric current drives the sharks back. One last bull shark is still charging straight at Lisa and Dakota when Nellie, the enormous pregnant great white, comes surging out of the water and slams into it. Everyone goes still and watches as Nellie tears the bull shark apart completely. The reporters on the boat capture every second of it. Dale pulls Lisa and Dakota out of the water and onto his boat. Dakota wraps her arms around her uncle. Lisa gets her phone out and calls her mother. She holds the camera up and shows her newborn baby boy for the first time. The reporters talk from the boat about how hurricanes are growing more powerful and more destructive with every passing year. Dale puts a hand on Dakota's shoulder and tells her that her mother would be so proud of her right now. The movie ends with Dale's partner staring at a monitor. Another hurricane is already forming out in the ocean.